he doesn't have the biggest effect.
You know, the thing is, I think this is the one matchup he would really want to avoid in this
Yeah.
top 8.
He can't. His stated strategy is to just sit there and grind it out. But he can't do that if his opponent can make everybody a 9/9.
So Gerard has a true trump. So kind of a story from the Pro Tour just a week ago. My first draft, I drafted very similar to Patrick, a removal heavy, great Orzhov deck. Round 2, I played a player who got me games 2 and 3, just off of the mind of end step gridlock, untap biomass mutation twice. And it's like the problem is Orzhov can't control the tempo it wins at. And Gerard has 2 trumps. He has the biomass mutation and Gideon, which is another card which Orzhov really can't answer.
I mean, Patrick can't be too happy about several of the rares in Gerard's deck.
Yes, Simic Manipulator is another one.
in the last game against Ben, Gerard just played Simic Manipulator and sat there, and nothing happened for several turns while he accumulated land.
At least that guy can be killed, and Patrick, does have a fair amount of removal. But yeah, he's going to have to basically be the aggressor in the matchup, which is not really where his deck wants to be.
Let's see here, and there's the Manipulator. Does Patrick have an appropriate removal spell?
So what we know is that Manipulator, both players on 3 lands really haven't done too much. Fabiano started on the Manipulator, so that's one of the kind of must-kill spells from Fabiano. I would say, of the permanents, Patrick can ignore most of them. Like I said, Manipulator is going to be a little bit of a problem.
He's going to play Ivy League Denizen. Does he got that in his hand?
Yeah, he does have an Ivy League Denizen, it appears. He also has a Simic Flux Mage. So he may go Flux Mage to try to be really greedy on how many counters he can get on all his creatures.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, Patrick's an Orzhov deck. Why not make the greediest play? He has so much time.
All right, so I think there's an Executioner swing in Patrick's hand that is just never going to get cast.
So wisely, Gerard didn't attack. I mean, this combo here, remember that Simic Flux Mage can feed the Simic Manipulator into really just stealing everything. So how does Patrick deal with this board as an Orzhov deck? A lot of his removal, his smites, his Executioner swings, so he doesn't actually have any smites, but are ill-equipped to deal with these cards. He has an Angelic Edict. He has a Grisly Spectacle.
I mean, he had best start using those cards, right? He can't sit there.
He has an Orzhov Charm.
What's interesting?
That's it.
Gerard has exposed the Flux Mage.
Okay, so all right, there's our one hard removal spell, the Grisly Spectacle. Patrick wisely, I believe he had a 3-drop and he just opted not to play it.
Sure. I thought he had an Executioner swing, so I might have considered killing the Flux Mage just because I had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, because you mean because you can later.
Yeah, and then I could just get the other guy anyway.
So Gerard, to minimize milling, is going to attempt to steal his own creature. He stole his own Flux Mage in response to the Spectacle, so as to only mill 0. Yeah. Pretty heads-up play on his part.
All right.
Nav Squad Commando. So now here come the walls from Patrick Sullivan. Granted, Simic has good ways of breaking through walls. We know we have Sapphire Drake, for example, in Gerard's deck. We have the ability to evolve.
He can just get big, yeah.
And we'll see that here if Gerard can curve.
Every time I see that guy get cast, I'm a little bit sad.
The 2/4?
Yeah, I feel like he's got work to do,
I mean, in this matchup, it's a particularly, kind of dumpy card. It doesn't really ever attack. It kind of blood rushes, but the other guy's playing a bunch of smites sometimes.
No, he isn't.
No, he isn't, but but you'd expect
I know what
it.
you mean.
It's not the matchup where it's not the place for a 2/4. He really belongs in the Boros matchups. But Simic Flux Mage now up to 3 counters. Remember, if Gerard can spread the counters around it, he can create a very powerful Sapphire Drake. So Patrick,
that would just be unbelievable.
Yeah, it would be just basically a levitation.
That's what Patrick's looking at.
Patrick with very few hard removal spells for an opponent who's not attacking.
So 6th land.
And we'll see Treasury Thrall.
But there's no money for it yet, right?
No, not yet. I mean, so Patrick trying to go bigger over the top of Fabiano's deck. What he actually has. So one of the things when you have a Treasury Thrall is what are the things you can possibly recur. Typically you want to find a Death's Approach. I talked about a greedy player returning a Soul Ransom.
I mean, you could just be running guys in, right?
And just rebuying at that point. I don't think he has any particular card that's insane to bring back. It's just for creatures.
But Treasury Thrall is on Patrick's no pass list, so he
Okay, so
He
so
always
talked to you
takes it
about
first
this?
pick.
Okay. Simic Flux Mage, blocked by Nav Squad Commandos, and we're going to see a Shamble Shark. That does not, and because it's a green creature, it'll trigger, you'd see now a combat trick. Yeah, and it'll grow the Simic Flux Mage once again. An excellent little combat trick there to take out the Nav Squad Commandos. Gerard's got a really good grip on this game.
Little cross-card interaction there.
Yeah, I mean, normally you think, okay, you see that too many, you think Scab Clan, the Scab Clan 2-4, but no, it's... I know, for my first playdown, I was like, wait, that's not going to evolve it, and you have to do that check.
No.
Wait,
Yep.
That's not what's happening.
All right, so he's got the Angelic Edict.
He
Do
has
you think it's time yet?
Yeah, he has Edict, Purge the Profane, and Orzhov Charm. Of those, I think the most valuable card, at least when I was losing those matches, I was saying to like Gridlock Biomass Mutation, the one thing I learned about my Orzhov deck is I had no Purge the Profanes in my sideboard. So
You want to prevent this from happening, right? So like taking the money out of
he needs to clean this up, and that's something he maybe can do. The problem is like Patrick needs to do more than clean. He has to remember I said he has to be the aggro deck in this matchup.
He's dramatically behind right now, to be clear. So he's got.
No,
it's not even the case that he's definitely got the best creature in play.
It's not dramatically. The problem is that Gerard's threats just all continue to build. You know, they evolve, they add more counters. Everything eventually has to be answered. It's very hard for Patrick to blank individual cards.
Yeah, he's gonna Edict Flux Mage.
Edict and Extort for the Flux Mage. Yeah, I mean he has to do that.
Sure. I mean now he's got pretty much the best guy in play.
You put Ivy Lane Denizen and Shamble Shark. You know, it won't be very long before they'll take care of that. Right? You know, one green creature, and suddenly the Shamble Shark's a 4/3. Suddenly, now two more, and suddenly maybe it'll even be beating up Treasury Throw.
Is he gonna be a Drake of some sort?
Well, Gerard, like I said, setting up for a great Sapphire Drake at some point here. We do see Leyline Phantom, big enough to tangle with Treasury Throw.
Big enough to kick Treasury Throw down the stairs.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the biggest deck this time. You know, we saw that in Gerard's draft. He was just drafting completely for power, and you know, and this is what happens.
And just on this paradigm that I think most players just would never look at, right? Just taking the most explosive thing that was in the pack a lot of the time.
Absolutely. So I was saying, is, you know, kind of my style of drafting. Sometimes doesn't always work out, to be fair. You end up with some really bad decks.
You need the top right corners of your decks to match up to some degree.
But it's great when you're in this pro setting where, you know, a lot of people really don't like taking rares, and when you see stuff like Gruul Rage Beasts going last, everyone's like, oh.
Urban Evolution. That's a big game.
That's a great card for decks like this, because the 3 cards you draw are just so good.
I mean, in particular, against Patrick Sullivan's deck, which is kind of like a progressive advantage deck.
Yeah, it's a draw 3.
Yeah, and I can't imagine Gerard didn't draw a land.
He's gonna take 5 and then Executioner swing with Extort.
It's less exciting than it might be in other situations, but still take that play.
So going back to a comment on Urban Evolution, this is a card that I've been seeing going, you know, 5th to 8th in drafts recently, and you know that's something as that. You know, maybe I'm misreferencing the past. I specifically remember older formats where cards of the level of Concentrate or Tidings were just
going
insane.
very high. Yeah.
And you know, we found, I would say in the last couple of years, that's really hasn't been the case for a while. Those cards have started going later. I remember even as recent as World Wake cards like Mysteries of the Deep.
So, Patrick Sullivan, Orzhov Charm taking out Ivy Lane Denizen.
Right.
So he's gonna get
stabilizing,
get control of this table, and he's got to Purge the Profane in his hand. If Gerard starts dropping cards, I think
he's really setting up the lock. You know, he's just trying to answer everything.
But he's still got to keep enough guys down that he's not blown out by Biomass Mutation. That's, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way he can actually kill enough creatures to not get blown out by Biomass. Or really Gideon, for that matter.
Oh, Gideon is another story entirely. Right. I don't know then.
I mean, that's why I really like Gerard in this matchup. Outside of having all these great growing threats, he just has 2 stone trumps. You know, like, I'm not sure how Patrick's supposed to answer Gideon or Biomass.
I don't understand how arguably the best deck at the table that has Obsidian Ghost Council doesn't have, like, the clear trump at the table. He's, like, 3rd or 4th place.
Well, the thing about Orza, like I said, they can't control their own clock. You give your opponent forever to answer what you're doing.
So Patrick's come in with Treasury Throw, and he's getting back his commandos.
Yeah, I mean, for Fabiano, he's going to take. That's really an ambitious take there, because then remember, every attack you give treasury throws, gives it another raise dead.
So, and an extort.
Yep, nav squad with extort.
So your argument is that if he had blocked to kill, that...
I mean, he does. There are some things that are a problem. No, aerial maneuver would be a very good trick against him, but yeah.
I don't think that Patrick would have made that attack if he didn't have some amount of cushion.
I mean, he had the arrows of justice, to be fair. So yeah, he did have he had the trick. Interestingly enough, no, he has the arrows. He's gonna have to save the arrows of justice. Gerard does have a frontline medic, which he's casting here.
Oh, that's a big game.
Right now, but the battalion's a trigger, so Patrick can bait Fabiano into a less than exciting attack here.
Oh, and you're saying like running
trigger
arrows
on the stack, trigger on the stack, arrows the medic. Gerard, a lot of times you can frontline medic lock someone out of the game, right? You just keep indestructible in your team. So Gerard's decided it's time to commit the rest of the team. 1 card in hand. I like how he went from 4 cards in hand to 1 really quickly.
So that he would not get blown up by Purge.
Yeah. He really successfully played around the Mind Rot effect.
Gerard's doing a lot of the little things quite well this game, it looks like.
Yeah, I think Gerard's playing really tight here. I don't know how much of each other's deck lists they're aware of, but it seems like I would say a lot.
Doubt substantially they were sharing, right?
Well, they were sitting next to each other last round. They were
okay.
So. Sullivan's match finished a little before Fabiano's, so it might be that Gerard does not know much of Patrick's deck. The opposite is unlikely true, though.
He took a hard scout.
Yep. So Patrick with an arrows, a swing, a purge the profane. We were talking with him about this, and he said that his favorite draft archetype is really just to grind as hard as possible.
Do nothing Orzhov.
Do nothing Orzhov. I would say his hand is a perfect example of that archetype.
Problem is, if your opponent isn't cooperative, like Gerard is here, his hand's just like choking in good cards that are not getting any love.
Yeah, Gerard's not attacking.
An island for Gerard.
So if you're Gerard, he could try to push the aggression here, and that really does seem like a fine move. Remember, he also has biomass. He's going to go for...
Does he have biomass?
No, in his deck, I think he has Sapphire Drake in his hand. Which Patrick might feel pretty bad about not casting that Purge the Profane there. He would have nabbed the Sapphire Drake.
Oh, so let's see. There's no flying blockers on Patrick's side, right?
Correct.
So
you have a 5/4 Shamble Shark. And he's gonna swing just the 2 flyers, opting not to swing the medic, even though the medic would make attacker. It's a free roll, but it would just smash into something else anyway.
I think that's a pretty good play,
yeah.
Because, like you said before, Patrick could get him with something. An Executioner swing will still kill an indestructible creature.
Absolutely.
So.
Alright, so we see Arrows of Justice first on the Shamble Shark. 1 card in Gerard's hand. No Ivy Lane Shamble Shark tricks this time for him. So Patrick would have dropped down to 11.
And he grinded him for 1. I'm sorry, extorted
him for 1.
All these
so many
bleeding,
new
extortings,
words.
grindings, reaches.
Really do need a different... Running out of words, that is really true. This grindy Orzhov is just so good that the fact that on this turn after this swing, Gerard took 2, Patrick took 1. If you factor in the extort.
And Gerard lost 2 guys. Just let's be clear.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, a 5/4 flyer and a 3/1 flyer. An air elemental size.
Serious cards actually were lost.
At this point, Patrick, if you're Patrick, if you know about the biomass mutation, you still may wait on Purge the Profane. It's really a game of inches at this point. On the other side, unexpectedly, Frank Scarron winning the first game. I really, from my viewpoint, unexpectedly. His deck, he's a very strong player, I already know, and his deck seems to be, like I said at the beginning, I thought he and Patrick had the best decks at the table. Not surprising to see him win the game 1.
So, 6 mana, is that Night Watch?
Yep, that's going to be a Night Watch with the 1 extort trigger.
So Gerard's going to go down to 10, and even if there's a biomass mutation, at least Patrick's going to have some,
it's not dead
some sponges.
Yeah.
Soak up a little damage here.
This game is going according to Patrick's plan. Maybe not perfectly, there were some tense moments at the beginning, but I think we've reached the point where Patrick is really happy with how this has gone.
And in comes a Drake. Do you think he can kill it?
I don't believe so. I think Patrick has no cards. And we'll see Adaptive Snapjaw.
Gerard has 11 Adaptive Snapjaws.
Yeah, that's not real, I don't think. He said he has one, he played 11 of them. That might just be a mismark somewhere. I'm not sure. That could be on us.
I can't imagine someone would play 11 Adaptive Snapjaws.
I mean, I like high drops, but that's too much. I mean, the Snapjaw into Sapphire Drake, unfortunately the awesome combo happened in the wrong order this game. No, seriously, that's one of my favorite combos.
Oh, now you have like a huge flyer. Yeah. So Purge the Profane from Patrick Sullivan to Gerard Fabiano. So that's going to be an extort for 1, but an
plus
up by
3 minus 1.
And he gets only an island.
Yeah. Right. That card had the potential to be so much better in the matchup. I think Patrick really did miss a window where he could have hit the Sapphire Drake. That was the turn where Gerard went from 4 to 1. You know, as it is now, he's really only going to get island.
So Gerard's just going to swing to everybody here. Well, not everybody. For 3 guys and setting up the indestructible nature of frontline medic.
Yeah, he wants the indestructible Snapjaw. And that's, and he's finally gotten to the point where indestructible is now really, really key. I liked how slowly Gerard... I really just like almost everything about how Gerard's been playing this game. Whether it's, from cleverly playing around to mind rot to just like timing his threats. I think he's making the most of each of his cards.
Exactly 13 damage.
So yeah, it has to be blocked. 6, 4, 3, yeah, that would be 13. That would be a lethal swing. He does take 4, so Patrick's at 9.
So,
remember that Patrick still could like draw Obsidat here and like completely make this game really difficult for Gerard to win.
So, Patrick's... do you think he's likely to make an attack? Because he can use his Treasury Thrall, get the Raise Dead, and then he should get an untap on his Commando as well, right? Is it a...
Yeah, the problem is to get the untap on the Commandos, he's going to have to Suicide the Knight, and that's something I really don't want to do in this situation. You'd essentially... You'd actually lose... You'd trade Treasury Thrall, you'd lose the Knight. There's a lot of that. It's probably not worth the Raise Dead. You'd be losing 2 creatures, including your best creature. Right now, he needs to focus on plays that can somehow deal damage to Gerard.
And Treasury Thrall.
Yeah, Thrall's and Luck. And here's where we get to this difficult part, where, that indestructible Adaptive Snapjaw is really posing problems for him. Unfortunately, Sullivan with two Executioner's swings in his yard right now probably have to kind of feel like he's beating himself,
I mean, would you be mad at yourself for using the Executioner swing on the 3/1 flyer the previous turn?
Well, because the frontline medic was already in play at that point. Yeah, I might be. I think I'd be upset at that one. It's not clear how much of a choice he had in the matter. Taking 3 every turn is not a great idea either. But I may have, if I were Sullivan, may have contemplated whether it was possible for him to wait.
He has better answers to a 3/1 flyer, right? Like he's got like 1/2 flyers, 2/2 flyers.
He's got a Basilica Screecher. He's got a Kingpin's Pet. So not
and he's got Obsidat the Ghost Council.
All right, and that was the card we're saying, which if drawn could really turn the game around. I don't know if it's still enough.
So he's getting
it's still
3
life
right?
points, and it's going to be 2 and 2 and 2. So this puts.
I don't think he's going to blink it out. I think he's going to leave it back for defense.
If he doesn't blink it out, I don't know how he's winning. I think we have to count. First of all, can he survive?
No, he's on 8 life, right? So the damage represented is 6, 4, 13, 14, 15, 16 plus.
If Gerard activates the Key Rune and Patrick blocks the 2 largest creatures, which would be a 3 and a 6, he's still taking 2, 2,
10.
3, 4.
10 plus.
Yeah, he's still taking 11.
He can't not...
Yeah, and he sees that too. The Ghost Council probably showed up a turn too late. And Gerard's, basically putting out what the blocks would be. And he's swinging the entire team. No fog in the format, per se.
Gerard's thinking better of this.
Okay. He doesn't know what he's... There is a Hintervines. Hintervines is a fogging format, but not in black-white. There's no safe passage, I don't believe, in the format.
So Gerard's lining up what he thinks the blocks will be now. So actually, this is pretty cagey. So if Patrick lives, he can Treasury Thrall back Obsidat.
Correct. Which he probably will do.
4, 5, 6. So
he's taking.
Looks like it'll put Patrick to 1, right? Is that right?
It doesn't really matter how blocks this. No, this puts him to 0. It puts him to -1, or no, to exactly 0. There's 4. Yeah, 2, 2, and 4. So still lethal swing. Gerard gets game 1. You know, very nervous here, Patrick. Gerard got game 1 without either of his 2 trump cards, which has got to, you know, that's got to be very tense for him. For Patrick,
I think perhaps that's true, and I think perhaps pressure's off now. You think? That's possible?
Yeah, I think this is an uphill fight for Patrick, definitely. Game 3 on the other side of the bracket.
He seems to be taking a lot of sleeves off.
All right, so how many cards are we sleeving out here? Like a lot. All of them.
Yeah, I would just.
He's de-sleeving and re-sleeving his entire deck, so as not to tell how many cards